Well, hey, Cookster here, and welcome to another video. This is a 1931 four-door Model A slant window, Murray body sedan, 4-pan. The rest of the car is right there, right there, and right there, and right there. So as you can tell, I've taken the body apart. And the reason I did that is for rust removal and some metal work and some rust repair. It was a pain in the butt. I filmed some of it. I didn't film all of it. My Model A videos are not getting a lot of views, but I'm trying to build my Model A, channel area of my channel up. And if I don't post videos, I can't do that. So I did join the ham. I'm posting this link to this video over there. So I hope a few of you guys from the ham that I've met come over and check it out. This is going to be a fun build. We're doing a lot of neat stuff. Some of you traditional guys probably won't care for it completely, but the body stuff is pretty much all the same. I'm not doing anything crazy to the body. 32 frame, modified 32 frame, small block Ford, 5-speed transmission, 9-inch Ford rear end. So not traditional in a traditional sense, what I think is traditional, but it's not going to be a R-rod and modernized stuff, and yeah. So I think most of you will probably like the build, but as I said earlier, this is early on. I do have it all apart now. I've shot hours and hours and hours of footage of tearing this thing down from day one, basically, and posted very little of it because I don't really have an audience. Nobody was watching it and that sort of thing. So if I ever get enough of an audience one day that wants to see that stuff, I might post it. But for now, we're just going to deal with what we got. So I'm going to show a little bit of tearing these sides off. I had to get out the plasma cutter and cut most of the stuff loose. I'd already drilled a bunch of spot welds and stuff off camera. You know what that looks like. So anyway, let's get into the video. Let me stop rambling, and you can watch how I got this thing apart, and then we'll go from there. So let's get into it. Here we go. What we're doing is grinding rivets, and I've been using one of my new favorite tools. If you don't know it, these cars were pretty much riveted together. They were back in the day. So one of my new favorite tools here is this air sander, this flat belt sander. And I've seen a lot of people on the web or on YouTube grinding rivets with these things, both spot welds and rivets. And man, does it work good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up the camera, let it running. I'm going to grind out these two rivets. Now as I grind out and punch out each rivet, put a bolt back in there so I can, so it won't fall apart on me while I'm getting the other side done. We're going to try and get this panel out. I had to move the camera, so hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just using the front of this belt to grind this rivet head off. When I get it ground down, I'm going to punch it out, I hope. Alright, that's out. So that should be it. Yep, that's it. Alright, this side is loose. So now we'll go to the other side, do the same thing. Alright, the two lower rivets are out. So let me see if I can figure out how to get this thing off of here. Those two would cut. That made a difference, huh? How about that? Ding dong. I'm just going to keep kind of levering and pushing and guys. There you go. Just about got it. Of course, there we go. Of course, the only reason I can do this, like I just did it, because that header panel was in such terrible shape. Alright, here we go. Woohoo! How about that? I'm going to be a Model A taker aparter before you know it. How about that? I will show you the bottom of this foot on this pillar. So this is what the bottom of the foot, the A-pillar post is supposed to look like. Even though that's rusty and cruddy, it's there. You can see here, I didn't cut that off. That entire piece had rusted away. Part of it was on the foot, the sub rail piece. When I took them apart, it just cracked and came right off with it. But 90% of that just rusted away. So I've got to rebuild that entire. Whoops! I got to rebuild that entire bottom piece right there. So I'll be using that as a model to repair that piece. So look, damn it. So look for that repair upcoming at some point. Don't know when, but at some point I'll be having to fix. So at some point I'll be fixing that. All right, here's my Model A body, about ready to be taken apart. What I'm doing, I'm taking each half of the car apart. Now I am going to cut this B-pillar off because I don't want to be carrying this thing around and working on this section here with that B-pillar flopping in the wind. Just didn't think that was a good thing to do. So what I did, I welded a bracket on each side and then I drilled bolt holes. So basically when I cut the bracket off, I've already made my initial cut here. When I cut the post off and then put it back on, I can bolt it back in the same place it was when I took it off. If I had to cut this thing off, I would have lost the saw curve, which is going to make the column or the post be shorter. So when I put it back on, I wouldn't have known where it was height wise, minus the cutoff blade. So I just put bolts in here. I can unbolt it, and when I put it back on, it'll go back in the exact place it came off as far as the height goes. For the width, you see these plywood braces here. Again, these are bolted through the B-pillar, and I also took the time to X out the frame here, so when these are put on and bolted in as they are now, and I'm sorry it's a little dark in here, I see on the camera it's a little dark, the center section is X'd out, in other words it's square. So when I put it back together, that'll give me a good start for getting this thing square. I will, as I'm building the body back together, I will, put actual steel tubing in here, 1 by 1 or whatever, and get it square. But that's when I start putting the body back together. This will give me a good starting point for the width, mainly for the width, well, not mainly, for my width. I didn't want to lose the width here between the two columns. That's a very critical measurement, obviously. And without having a real roof or a roof insert, that was really the only way I could figure out to get my centers back together width-wise. Same thing for the C-pillar, a much smaller width because I only really need 1 bolt here on each side. Here I've got it wide enough so I can have 4 bolts, 2 here and 2 there, which gives me an X, and again it stops it from moving side to side. It's pretty damn rigid, is the way it is now. This gives me the width of the C-pillars across here. Again, I did all this before I cut that roof. I had a roof insert that's laying right here. It was a homemade 2-piece roof insert, not done well at all, but I think it's actually stainless. I'm gonna keep that stainless. That stuff's expensive. Anyway, I put the braces on while I still had the roof insert and the few bows that were decent in roof bows to get my width. So my width is what it was before I cut it apart, which was the whole reason for doing this before you cut it apart. And the back has this brace I've already cut loose, which I'll take out in a minute. It's already, you know, drilled out the rivets. So this brace here establishes the width across, plus I had the rear panel right there, which, you know, establishes that width. And at the bottom, I put a piece of plywood in down here again to establish the width at the bottom. Now this bracket over here is toast. It's only got one tiny small area right here, barely holding it on. But luckily, I'm you know, it's at the width it was before I cut it apart, so it should be the right width. So I am ready now to cut the sides loose. What I'm going to do, I'm going to remake. Okay, just take this out of here while I'm here because it's wanting to go before it pisses me off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make new inner wheelhouses, fender wells, if you want to call them. So I'm not really trying to save these in any way. Plus, the bottom, as you can see here, is gone. The rear section of the pan here is shot. I'm assuming the front section from maybe this brace forward is probably in good shape, but I don't know that for a fact yet. But the rear section back here is definitely going to go. Because I'm doing some frame, I'm doing a different frame and stuff back here that can't really talk about a whole lot yet. There's going to be a lot of changes back here. As far as my B pillars, I drilled out the spot wells that hold the B pillar. Actually, these are the 2 rivet holes. I'm sorry. These are original rivet holes. 2 here, and they had 2 on each side. Now, there was a weld on each one of these tabs. I'm not sure if, you know, the bodies you guys might have are the same way. So I had to grind the welds off. So these tabs here are a bit boogered up, but I'll fix it back. The same on the C pillar. I drilled spot wells out. There were no rivets in this piece here, so I just drilled 2 holes and put bolts in it. That wasn't a rivet here. There was a rivet here. I drilled out, and the same thing for that side. So I can unbolt the B pillars. The B pillar and the C pillar are already loose at the bottom. All I got to do is pull those bolts out. This B pillar will come right off. I could go ahead and cut it loose from up here, but when I do, this top roof piece is going to sag, and I don't want to do that. I'm going to take it off, still assemble, still put together. It'd be easier to get it off of here, I think. Having never done this, you know, I'm learning as I go. But anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to get the plasma cutter out and start cutting these inner wheel wells the rest of the way out. And then I'll have to take my braces loose, obviously. And then we'll see what happens. I guess I'll film it, see if I can film doing this. I don't know if it'll be worth showing it because you'll be able to see or not, but we'll see what happens. That's out. Alright. We're off. There we are, we're off. I can get that piece of metal to break. There we go. Don't do that. Okay. I know, but we'll fix you. Sorry. Alright, that could have been way worse. So you see it, it's off. Okay, based on what I learned from the other side, I'll try to get all this middle stuff cut out and work loose first while my B pillar and C pillar still got bolts in them. That way they'll rock, but they won't just slide off. I almost have this side cut loose. Alright, as I was trying to say, this back brace back here now is the only thing holding this side up. So when I cut this loose, the ass is going to fall. Which is not what I really want to happen. But, what are you going to do? Should be able to come up now, I think. Yep, there we go. All right. Woo! Anybody want to buy a Model A that's in pieces? It's a good shape, ready to go. Put it back together like a big erector set. You can do it. 10% off today only. Alright, it's apart as you can tell. Give me time to move stuff and clean up around and whatever, and I'll come back and end the video or do something. Alright, here's my Model A body. Can't you see it? You know, it's all up here pretty and painted and all that good stuff. Nah. So I have got the sides off, obviously. The body's completely apart. Well, not completely apart, but I got the two sides, the rear panel, of course the firewall and stuff. But there we go, the Model A body's apart. By the way, let me reiterate, this is a mostly steel. There is some wood on the inside. It had wooden bows for the top piece, the headliner, and I guess the fabric top. And it had some wood in the B pillars and C pillars on the sides to put, you know, fasten interior to. But the body itself, the structure is all steel. So for you guys that don't know about these bodies, and I didn't either till I bought this one, get on your friend Google a 31 4-door slant window. I'm pretty sure it's a Murray built body. If you just Google 31 4-door slant window Model A, this body style will come right up. Most of y'all don't have these. You've got the regular 4 doors or 2 doors, or like the Vickies, and they're if it's a sedan, even the 5 windows, and they have a lot of wood inside. These don't. So it was a lot more work and a lot more difficult to cut the body apart. But I wanted to do it. I had it in my mind from the day I bought this thing, pretty much, and I wanted to get it all apart, get as much of the rust out of it as I can, coat it back in epoxy primer, rust prep, all that stuff, all the things I like to do to my cars that I work on. This one made it a lot more work on me. If it had been framed out of wood, you just take all the panels off and the wood frame, you know, most of these cars just falls apart. The originals anyway. But anyhow, so it was a lot more work, but I got it done. So, next steps for the Model A, I'm not sure. I kind of want to go ahead and fix this front foot, which you can't really see. The worst, not the worst, but the worst spot of rust for me on this floor pan at the moment is under the right side sub-rail extension. It's basically rusted through. I can sit there and just wiggle it like a tin can. So I got to fix that. The back of the pan, let me get the camera off and I'll give you a once over. So as I was saying, here's the front foot section. It's just flopping in the breeze. I got to fix this. This side appears to be alright. The rest of the floor appears to be alright till we get to here. The back section is pretty bad, and as I've said, if you don't know already, I'm putting this on a 32. I would call it a modified 32 frame, because there are going to be some changes to the 32 frame, and I can't really talk about those now because I'm still in design phase. So this back half's coming off anyway. Plus, the flange around the side, all the way around, this side was shot. The back is shot. So this flange over here was shot. So even if I wanted to put a traditional floor pan back in this thing, I'd have to replace at least the side and the back, and probably just the whole thing. So, but that's coming off. Now I do have problems on the edge of my sub rail here, but I gotta fix this. The other side, I don't remember, probably needs work as well. I'm sure this section might be in better shape on this side, but they will need some amount of work. The centers and the bottom, I don't even know yet. I haven't flipped the pan upside down yet. There's the right side of the car, left side, the rear panel is right there. Anyway, I'm going to be at some point putting all these large panels in electrolysis. I'm going to build probably a 4x8 plywood size electrolysis tank, line it with a tarp, and then run all these pieces through electrolysis. I will be cutting the B pillars off just to get them out of the way. I think I have prepped to do that. I kind of showed you earlier how I welded a tab on here, a bracket, so I can put it back in the right place when I cut it off. That way I can put just the B pillars in the electrolysis drum that I have outside, a 55-gallon drum, and then I can put this in a 4x8 tank. I mean, I could leave the B pillar on. I have made provisions to cut it off because I thought it would be in my way. Right now, I might rethink that. But I definitely want to get this thing in electrolysis and get all this rust up under here, which I can't show you that well right now. All this surface rust and crap cleaned out. I got to get all the wood out. I had a big dent right here in the roof. All this stuff's got to be cleaned up and fixed and ready to be put back together one day. I'm going to put a roof insert in it. I'm going to put a 32 header. The header piece across the front, I'm going to change to a 32. This upper panel, the front header panel, is in horrible shape. I would have had to replace both the inner and the outer. And I guess you can get those repops. Don't know how much they cost, yada yada. But I saw a car on the ham where a guy had changed the front header to a 32 type, and boy did it look good. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change my front header here to a 32 header. Anyway, that's way down the road. So anyway, let me say again, if you come over from the ham, welcome on in. My Model A videos are not getting a lot of views. That's why I haven't posted a lot on it. I did recently join the ham and starting to make some friends over there. I'm not going to call it any names because I don't want to offend anybody or forget somebody. But I am getting some friends over there who are looking in at my build. So if you come over from the ham, if you're one of those guys, or even if you're not, welcome in. Try to spread the word around for me. I'm trying to build a channel. The Model A build is not getting any love from the YouTube algorithm. It's going to take word of mouth from you guys to kind of get the message spread around and maybe get a few views on this thing. By the time we get to the interesting stuff, like all the sheet metal work and the frame and all I got planned, I got some neat stuff planned for this car. I think you guys will enjoy it. I just got to get past the early stuff, kind of the boring stuff. So if you guys can help me spread the word around, I would appreciate it. I'm trying not to post a lot of videos on the ham right now because I'm still pretty new over there. I don't want to overstep my welcome or my bounds or anything. So I'm hoping some of you guys came in and watched this one and they'll kind of be waiting for some more work down the road. So anyway, thanks for being here. Hope you learned something or you like what you're seeing. Be sure and do all the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, share it around the Model A guys. It's going to be a fun build. Just got to get into it eventually. It's going to take a little time, so bear with me. Anyway, I'm Cookster's Garage. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, all that stuff. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Y'all come back now, you hear? Happy Model A body building something togetherness. I'll see y'all later. Bye.